There are no switches that can control both the fan and light separately using only three-way switches. Most three-way switch setups for ceiling fans with lights involve one three-way switch controlling the fan motor, and another three-way switch controlling both the lights and the fan motor. The plans are likely referring to a common three-way switch setup as described. The fan motor will be wired to one three-way switch, and the lights will be wired to the other three-way switch. Other options are available. You can install a remote control for the fan and lights, which eliminates the need for wall switches. Remote controls typically come with their own receiver that is installed inside the fan. Smart home devices, such as Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa, can be integrated with ceiling fans and lights, allowing control with voice commands or a smartphone app. Separate switches can be installed for the fan motor and lights, but this will require more wiring and may not be feasible depending on the location of the ceiling box. Some ceiling fans have a pull chain that can be used to control the fan and lights separately. However, this option may not be aesthetically pleasing and is not as convenient as switches. It is important to hire a qualified electrician to install any ceiling fan switch setups to ensure safety and proper operation. Check the manufacturer's instructions for specific wiring requirements and compatibility with the fan model. When dealing with electrical wiring, it is crucial to prioritize safety. Always turn off the power at the circuit breaker before working on any electrical connections. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate safety gear, such as gloves and eye protection. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Understanding the basics of electrical wiring can help in troubleshooting and performing simple repairs. Electrical circuits typically consist of a power source, conductors, and a load. The power source provides the electrical energy, the conductors carry the electricity, and the load consumes the energy. In a typical residential electrical system, there are two main types of circuits: 120-volt circuits and 240-volt circuits. 120-volt circuits are used for lighting small appliances and standard outlets, while 240-volt circuits are used for larger appliances such as electric stoves, dryers, and air conditioners. Electrical wiring is typically color-coded to indicate the purpose of each wire. Black wires are typically used for hot wires, which carry the electrical current. White wires are typically used for neutral wires, which return the current to the power source. Green or bare copper wires are typically used for ground wires, which provide a path for electricity to flow safely in the event of a fault. When wiring a ceiling fan with lights, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The instructions will provide specific information about the wiring connections and any safety precautions that should be taken. Typically, the black wire from the power source will be connected to the black wire of the fan motor and the black wire of a light fixture. The white wire from the power source will be connected to the white wire of the fan motor and the white wire of the light fixture. The green or bare copper wire from the power source will be connected to the green or bare copper wire of the fan motor and the green or bare copper wire of the light fixture. When using three-way switches to control a ceiling fan with lights, the wiring is slightly more complicated. Three-way switches have 3 terminals instead of the 2 terminals found on a standard switch. The common terminal is connected to the power source, and the 2 traveler terminals are connected to the other three-way switch. Traveler wires allow the circuit to be completed from either switch location. To wire a ceiling fan with lights using three-way switches, the black wire from the power source is connected to the common terminal of one three-way switch. 2 traveler wires are then run from the traveler terminals of the first three-way switch to the traveler terminals of the second three-way switch. The common terminal of the second three-way switch is connected to the black wire of the fan motor and the black wire of the light fixture. The white wire from the power source is connected to the white wire of the fan motor and the white wire of the light fixture. The green or bare copper wire from the power source is connected to the green or bare copper wire of the fan motor and the green or bare copper wire of the light fixture. Remote controls for ceiling fans typically come with a receiver that is installed inside the fan. The receiver is wired to the fan motor and the light fixture. The remote control sends signals to the receiver, which then controls the fan speed and the light on or off status. Smart home devices can be integrated with ceiling fans and lights to allow for voice control or control via smartphone app. These devices typically connect to the home's wireless network and can be controlled using a smart home hub or a dedicated app. When installing separate switches for the fan motor and the lights, it is important to ensure that the wiring is properly sized for the load. The size of the wiring is determined by the amperage of the circuit. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for the proper sizing of electrical wiring. For example, NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for various types of conductors based on their size and insulation type. It is important to consult the NEC and local electrical codes to ensure that the wiring is properly sized. Pull chains can be used to control the fan speed and the light on or off status. Pull chains are typically connected directly to the fan motor and the light fixture. Pull chains are a simple and inexpensive option, but they may not be as convenient as switches or remote controls. When working with electrical wiring, it is important to use appropriate safety equipment. This includes insulated tools, gloves, and eye protection. Insulated tools help to protect against electric shock. Gloves protect the hands from cuts and abrasions. Eye protection protects the eyes from flying debris. Before working on any electrical circuit, it is important to turn off the power at the circuit breaker. This will prevent electric shock. It is also important to test the circuit to ensure that the power is off before working on it. This can be done using a voltage tester. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Electricians have the training and experience to safely and properly install and repair electrical wiring. They can also help to ensure that the electrical system is up to code. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing or repairing electrical wiring. The instructions will provide specific information about the wiring connections and any safety precautions that should be taken. It is also important to consult the NEC and local electrical codes to ensure that the electrical system is up to code. Electrical codes are designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. In addition to the above information, it is important to consider the following when working with ceiling fans and lights. Firstly, the location of the ceiling box. The ceiling box must be properly mounted and rated for the weight of the ceiling fan. Secondly, the type of wiring. The wiring must be properly sized for the load and must be in good condition. Thirdly, the type of switch. The switch must be rated for the voltage and amperage of the circuit. Fourthly, the type of light fixture. The light fixture must be compatible with the ceiling fan and must be properly installed. Fifthly, the type of remote control. The remote control must be compatible with the ceiling fan and must be properly programmed. Sixthly, the type of smart home device. A smart home device must be compatible with the ceiling fan and must be properly configured. Seventhly, the type of pull chain. The pull chain must be properly installed and must be in good condition. By considering these factors, you can ensure that the ceiling fan and lights are properly installed and that the electrical system is safe and up to code. When selecting a ceiling fan, consider the size of the room. A larger room will require a larger ceiling fan. Also, consider the style of the room. Choose a ceiling fan that complements the decor of the room. When selecting a light fixture, consider the brightness of the light. Choose a light fixture that provides enough light for the room. Also, consider the style of the light fixture. Choose a light fixture that complements the decor of the room. When selecting a remote control, consider the features of the remote control. Choose a remote control that has the features that you need, such as fan speed control, light on or off control, and a timer. When selecting a smart home device, consider the compatibility of the smart home device. Choose a smart home device that is compatible with the ceiling fan and the light fixture. Also, consider the features of the smart home device. Choose a smart home device that has the features that you need, such as voice control, app control, and scheduling. When selecting a pull chain, consider the length of the pull chain. Choose a pull chain that is long enough to reach comfortably. Also, consider the material of the pull chain. Choose a pull chain that is durable and will not break easily. When installing a ceiling fan, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The instructions will provide specific information about the installation process and any safety precautions that should be taken. It is also important to consult the NEC and local electrical codes to ensure that the electrical system is up to code. When wiring a ceiling fan, it is important to use the correct wiring connections. The wiring connections will vary depending on the type of ceiling fan and the type of switch. It is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully to ensure that the wiring connections are correct. When using three-way switches, it is important to understand how the switches work. Three-way switches have 3 terminals, 1 common terminal and 2 traveler terminals. The common terminal is connected to the power source, and the traveler terminals are connected to the other three-way switch. The traveler wires allow the circuit to be completed from either switch location. When installing a remote control, it is important to program the remote control to the receiver. The programming process will vary depending on the type of remote control and the type of receiver. It is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully to ensure that the remote control is properly programmed. When installing a smart home device, it is important to configure the smart home device to the ceiling fan and the light fixture. The configuration process will vary depending on the type of smart home device and the type of ceiling fan and light fixture. It is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully to ensure that the smart home device is properly configured. When installing a pull chain, it is important to make sure that the pull chain is securely attached to the ceiling fan. The pull chain should be long enough to reach comfortably, but not so long that it gets in the way. By following these tips, you can ensure that the ceiling fan and lights are properly installed and that the electrical system is safe and up to code. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrician if you are unsure about any aspect of the installation process. They can provide valuable guidance and ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. Furthermore, regular maintenance of your ceiling fan can help to prolong its lifespan and ensure optimal performance. This includes cleaning the fan blades regularly to remove dust and debris, which can reduce airflow and efficiency. Also, check the fan blades periodically to ensure that they are properly balanced. If the fan is wobbling, it may be necessary to adjust the blade weights or replace the blades. In addition, inspect the wiring connections regularly to ensure that they are tight and secure. Loose wiring connections can cause electrical problems and may even pose a fire hazard. If you notice any signs of damage or wear, such as frayed wires or cracked insulation, replace the wiring immediately. Finally, consider upgrading to energy-efficient lighting options for your ceiling fan. LED bulbs, for example, use significantly less energy than traditional incandescent bulbs and can last much longer. This can save you money on your electricity bill and reduce your environmental impact. By taking these steps, you can keep your ceiling fan in good working order and enjoy its benefits for many years to come.